Hello, hello, hello. Hello, YouTube. Today is April 4th, 2018. It is a Wednesday. I am... Oh, Shania Twain. Shania Twain's going to be here on June 13th. Look at that. U2 is going to be here on May 4th. James Taylor is going to be here. Bonnie Raitt. Love me some Bonnie Raitt. James Taylor, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, something with I guess some 3D experience at Game of Thrones. This is the Scott Trade Center, by the way. The reason why I'm here today, I'm actually going to be meeting my small business counselor, a program called SCORE. I'm going to be meeting a small business counselor. I'm trying to find spruce. So, kind of lost track of where it was exactly I was going. So I actually went the wrong direction. So luckily that's why I usually get to where I'm trying to go about a half hour before I'm supposed to actually be there, so in case I do get lost, or rather be early than late. So this is the same area where I did the interview for the St. Patrick's Day, the Patty's Day committee. Hopefully see how I get to where I'm trying to go. Let's see, here we go. The Robert A. Young building, where I will be going today. A little bit of a struggle getting here. It's very, I was gonna say chilly, but it's not even chilly, it's cold outside. It is cold. So I'm not sure I can actually film in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut the camera off now. So I'm here at the SBA, and evidently it's about 9:06 a.m. and my counselor is not here yet. He's running late, so didn't really give me any much instructions as far as what to do when I get here. So I'm just kind of waiting here at the SBA, waiting for him to arrive. He's late, so we'll see if he actually shows up or not. I'm on time, so. Hey guys, I'm back. I didn't want to film on my way to the Metrolink to get home. I just didn't want to, but it did go well. He did show up. he did show up about maybe 5-10 minutes after I shut the camera off. I taken the Metrolink. I don't have to deal with the a different kind of rush hour. He's dealing with him driving in. He was dealing with a different kind of rush hour. But once 9:15 rolls around, 9:30 rolls around, just getting the voicemail, start to wonder if this is going to actually happen. So it did go well. Interesting man. At this point right now, when it comes to vlogging, I think that having the camera there and people being aware, it'd be different if they weren't aware that the cameras were there. But with them being cameras there, I didn't want to, I find that people get anxious. Unless they're not used to, especially people who are not used to being on camera and used to, like, do I look into the camera, do I talk to the camera, I'm not sure what to do. So I usually don't. At this point I'm not going to be filming as appointments take place. It's just a distraction. But the meeting itself went well. Older man, so he had stories for days. And he, just as far as getting the information that I needed, as far as whether or not to start with either as an LLC, to form the company as an LLC, or to go with the corporation. As I said before in the other videos, the other video when I was meeting with the chocolatier, that there's no real substitute for one-on-one, that more personable one-on-one interaction or face-to-face appointment, especially being in the state of Missouri. I didn't know what differences there'd be. I haven't been here very long compared to the time that I spent in Illinois. I wasn't sure if there'd be any differences in Missouri, and there are. With the different company structures here, there's just differences in how, there's subtle differences in how things get done, and I don't want your eyes glazing over, but as you watch this, but differences in Missouri, in the state, and having a company registered here as opposed to in Illinois, there are differences there, and that's a big reason why I didn't want to just rely on internet information, even though there's a wealth of it out there. Having someone who is from the state, who's been spent a lot of their time, as my counselor was, a lot of their life in Missouri, and a lot of time here, and seeing a lot of companies and a lot of entrepreneurs come into their doors and things of that nature. That's just, it was for the best, and so that's what I did. Again, it's SCORE. You probably wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't interested in maybe starting a company yourself, and I would encourage you to try them out. It's free counseling, and at any point in the process too. That rough start, that initial rough start that we all have, that I'm having currently, that everyone has when you're just getting started, to companies that have been around, that are actually existing. I have a sole proprietorship, but I decided I'm going to go with an LLC instead. So he was just explaining to me about some of the things that, for example, like having that are specific to an LLC, like having an operating agreement. My little backdrop. I hope you all like the little wolf backdrop. But he was just explaining to me about things that I, was interested in, but some of the specifics of the LLC, including like having the operating agreement. Now, obviously, with it just being and some resources online that I can go to actually just have like a template, have a template example of how to make an operating agreement, which really is not going to be that extensive, given the fact that it's just me by myself at this point. Now, obviously, that'll change if and or when I decide to bring people on board with me. He did mention that having an attorney is the best thing to do, and also a CPA once you start to get involved with other people, getting partners. But if it's to be myself, at this point it's pretty straightforward. There isn't any idea that they haven't thought I could do that myself. And that's how I think most people think in general. When they hear about someone's business idea, they think, I could do that myself, but the stars may not be aligned for them to be able to do it, for you to be able to do it, for example. You may think my idea is a good idea, but you may not have, the stars may not be, or I may think that your idea is a good idea, but the stars may not be aligned for me to be able to do that, because maybe I'm missing the passion for what it is that you're interested in. Maybe the resources aren't there, the people, for example. Ideas are a dime a dozen. It goes back to the execution and the grit that it takes to actually execute it properly or successfully. So all around, it was a pretty funny guy, and once that rapport built up very quickly. So he was making, I'm not going to repeat the things, it was some jokes that he made about, I think I'll probably go with the LLC. Try the LLC this time around, and we'll see how that goes. Interesting to see how I'm going about it this time. Now having a little bit more experience, I'm just savvier about things. Just noticing my own personal growth, being more savvier about things, or as opposed to when it was just that first time around in Illinois. And I am one step closer. And I hope you are too, if you're trying to start a business yourself, or you're just interested in seeing someone document their journey. Hopefully you're one step closer to getting where you're trying to go, as I am today, one step closer to getting to where I'm wanting to go. Thanks for watching, and I don't have a catchphrase yet, so I'm working on a catchphrase to end my videos. I haven't come up with one yet. I'm still getting adjusted to this. I'm not even looking, I haven't even been looking into the camera this whole time. All these things that I know to do, for some reason, once the camera turns on, which is why this is exactly why I don't actually I'm not filming during the appointments that I have, because it's just too much of a distraction. It's just something happens when you realize that camera's on you. And I know to look into the camera, but I'm not doing it as I'm trying to collect my thoughts and present something to you. But all in all, good appointment. He's someone who's going to be, I think, very personable. Just sizing him up, someone who's going to be very personable for me. And I would suggest you do the same with SCORE. So, and I would suggest, for those of you who are just starting out, in whatever phase you are, wherever you are at in the quest, I would encourage you to get SCORE as far as recommendations and they can help you find people and possibly get you meetings with people who you may not otherwise have been able to if you were just unsolicited, because you have someone vouching for it. You know, connections, introducing you to people who you may not otherwise have access to, but for not the medium or the connection, having someone connected. So I'm still working on a catchphrase to end these videos, so